Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I wanted to talk about a good example of marketing out there called Yandere Dev. So Yandere Dev has been building this game, I think for years now, called Yandere Simulator, which is of course basically anime inspired and about playing a character that loves her senpai, but acts pretty creepy in order to achieve the goal of getting his love. So why I bring up his game specifically is that the way he's brought up a community around the game before it's even finished is rather genius. So in the case of Yandere Dev, looking at his channel right now, he's got, 1.5 million subscribers and 48,000 to spare as change. By the way, I'll include a link to his channel down below in the description so you can follow along in this video as I talk about it. So of course for the Yandere Simulator, he also has a website set up where you can actually download the development build of the game for free, and he also regularly does blog posts in addition to the videos that keep people up to date on what's happening with his game. So why this is so important is I think anyone who's considering building a game or really any product that they want to get out onto the market is how are they actually going to promote and sell whatever it is they have to offer. Now, one option, of course, would be to go and have a huge advertising budget to throw at something like pay-per-click ads. And it is possible to actually turn that into a profit, getting more money than you spent, but it's also possible to lose a lot when you don't know what you're doing. And as indie developers or solo developers, I honestly don't think that most people could just go into the whole pay-per-click advertising thing and actually come out successful. And that's simply because it's a whole nother skill to learn. And if you're already so focused on developing your game, C# skills, coming up with audio files, which means you have to learn how to create sound effects, or at least find some online. You might need music, or you might need to get in contact with people who do music. And you're definitely going to need game art, which is either going to be 2D sprites or 3D models. So to throw on top of that becoming a pay-per-click advertising expert, it doesn't seem like that would work for most people. So what Yandere Dev has gone ahead and done, as a guy who's pretty much a solo dev, I know he gets some volunteer help on his project, and maybe he pays a couple people to do some of the assets, but in general it's mostly his pet project. So what he's done is rather than just develop a game in secret, put it out to the store, maybe write up a Steam page, create a tiny trailer video on a channel that basically has no subscribers and isn't going to get any views therefore, is that he's constantly promoting his game by showing what it's all about, talking about it, getting discussion going. And as a result of generating so much hype for the game before it's even released, there are channels like Markiplier. Everybody's probably heard about Markiplier if you're into games at all. He has done, I think, like 13, 14 parts on Yandere Simulator. So aside from publicizing his game by talking about it on the blog and the YouTube channel, it's also working out for him that the development builds are playable for free, which means anyone can try it, which means anyone can record for it, which means that other people can talk about it, other people can get excited about it, other people can figure out everything about the game as it's being made, and then they can promote that on their own channels if it's something that they're excited about. But of course it's something that they're excited about, because the idea of Yandere Simulator is very interesting to many people. So I think the fact that the game revolves around these memes which existed long before Yandere Simulator was ever a thing. It was maybe with the anime Future Diary, which had the girl Yuno Gasai, the pink-haired girl who was kind of sociopathic. There were a couple videos made after her whole obsession with the main protagonist character in that show. So in a sense, it's so easy as someone who likes the Yandere archetype already from a character perspective to just go apply what you already know into the idea of Yandere Simulator, because you're going to basically know what you're getting ahead of time. And I think it has some undeniable interest for people. But then, in addition to having his whole audience, which is already prepped, ready for his game as he puts out more and more pieces of the puzzle, is that by having the game, developing the game, but promoting the game, he can also benefit from things like YouTube ad revenue or Patreon long before a game actually gets released. And then also reading some of the blog posts, it really sounds like he just doesn't have enough time in order to get everything out at the time he wants to, because there's just so many different aspects of working on the project. So the fact that people are supporting him on Patreon, and the fact that he's making ad revenue off of a game that isn't even out yet, I think that that's totally well earned. But what you can look at there is that, yes, this game is taking years to actually get to 100% completion. I think right now it's actually at version 0.51 or so. But because it's not all about getting the game out, and that's it, that's the entire project, that's the only source of making money or gaining an audience, he would be somewhat able to sustain himself with the money that's coming in from those other projects like the YouTube channel. And why I think that's so important is that you're not banking 100% of your success on having an unbelievably successful launch. If things don't initially go right, then you would be able to make adjustments, because your success in that instantaneous moment isn't everything. Then you would be able to make adjustments and go from there, because your success in that instantaneous moment isn't going to be everything, because you have these other sources that are supporting your project. And then on top of that, you can actually take the notoriety you've gained, basically bringing yourself up on these social media platforms, and you can not only use it to promote your game when it's ready, but also to kind of cascade into other projects. And when all of the major markets like Steam, the App Store for Apple, or the Google App Store, or even itch.io, which is specifically set up for basically anyone to upload their any game onto it, all of these markets have an absolute truckload of new games being released for them. So if no one actually knows who you are or what you just did, it's so easy to overlook the games that aren't being talked about. So I would think for anyone who's thinking of starting a new project, that if they want to have long-term success after they've put in months or a year into the project that they're working on, that it's really important to think about how you're actually going to get the word out. How are you going to build an audience for your game as you work on it and as you bring it to completion? And I really think that those devlog videos that Yandere Dev has been doing have done an excellent job of getting the word out about his game, promoting what he's doing. And although it might not be for everyone, the idea of having freely available development builds that anyone can try out, give them feedback on, it's an interesting concept, but I think for a solo developer that can really only help you, because the more people who are trying out your game, especially if you get anyone to make videos about it, that becomes even cooler. So if you're looking for a reference point on being a solo developer and actually seeing some success, I think that Yandere Simulator and the developer behind it are really good subjects to learn from and applying to your own process. Because the last thing you want to do is to spend a year making a game, put it up on the store, and then have it get 10 downloads and that's it. So that's going to be all for this video. I've been Chris, and once again I'm going to have the link to the Yandere Dev channel in the description. I'll also put the link to the Yandere Simulator project. And I really recommend you guys go check that out, if for no other reason, just to get some ideas from. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my future video content.